Welcome back to another episode of Run Yogi Diaries. This is your host, Santosh Shiva. If you're new to the channel, please do remember to subscribe. If you like this conversation, hit like and leave your comments below and let us know what you think. So stoked to have a different kind of a guest in this episode, Art Del Rio, who's an ex-Navy SEAL and a elite triathlete, having competed in quite a few of the world championships recently. We get behind the scenes on his life as a Navy SEAL and maybe get some glimpse in how hard these guys train and jump into his journey as a triathlete and hopefully take back some tips. An amazingly energetic conversation. I loved it. I'm sure you will. Art is a fantastic storyteller. He's got so much to share. I hope you enjoyed. Let's dig in. Hey Art, welcome to Run Yogi Diaries.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
Hey, it's such a pleasure having you. And, we've been at it for a couple of hours trying to get the system work. We also got, but here we are. We got the technology to work. Must be harder for you than Ironman.
Oh, yes.
Ironman is like you do in your sleepwalk, right?
Yep. That's for sure. But we got it made.
Awesome.
We made it work.
We made it, yes. All right, great. Hey, thanks for joining the podcast, Art. You obviously are an accomplished Ironman, athlete, and we're going to get behind the scenes on how you do it and why you do it, and we want to take some tips and learnings from your own journey. But let me do a quick introduction of who you are, and then we'll go from there.
All right, let's do it.
All right. So Art Del Rio, that's your full name. And you're a retired Navy SEAL. How cool is that?
It was a pleasure serving. That's for sure. It's
awesome.
All the pressure.
Awesome. You're my first ex-Navy SEAL guest on the show, so I'm pretty stoked about that. We only hear about Navy SEALs, we read about them, but to have somebody on my show talking to me, that's pretty cool.
Thanks.
And you live in Austin, Texas. You're married. You also are a founder of the Team RED4, which is kind of a nonprofit to bring awareness to 3 Naval Special Warfare Foundations.
Yes.
And then you're also a coach.
Yes.
Right? You're a TriDot coach.
Oh no, not a TriDot. They were my coach, but I coach for cross country in my kids' high school for the past 5 years now.
Okay, cool. So you're a coach. And what else? And the rest of the time, you're busy racing and competing in Ironman.
I won't say busy. I try to find time to do it and train.
Right. Yeah. It's your passion.
Yeah, it's not a hobby anymore. It's a passion. It's a lifestyle, I guess. You can say it's a lifestyle.
It's a lifestyle. Yeah. And you're a fast triathlete. Looking at some of your finish times. Your fastest is about 11 hours.
11:01
that was in Georgetown,
in Utah, St. George, the World Championship there.
So, yeah, it's amazing. So you're also a fast triathlete. So fantastic. Did I miss anything?
No, pretty much. Well, the 3 Navy SEAL Foundation we have is the Navy SEAL Foundation, the SEAL Legacy, and the Word of Honor Funds. All 3 foundations have different pillars that they support the community of Navy SEALs, family, and kids and stuff like that. If they want to go through that, the website is under our teamred4.org, and they can just scroll down and you'll see the website there. And just once they click on it, it goes straight to their website. And currently, we're having our fundraising every year. As you know, every time I race a world championship, I try to have a fundraising going on that year while I'm training to the world championship. So right now, the next goal is the 2024 Ironman, which I qualify already, and I'm training for that. Now we extended the fundraising to that year now for next year.
Okay. And what do these non-for-profits do?
Well,
I guess they're
yeah, they
supporting.
support the most of the family of the Navy SEAL, Naval Special Warfare community, which are the SEALs, and also the people that work for us, which is pretty much end up in our umbrella. So they're part of our community now. So if anything happened to their family during a war training, anywhere else, each foundation have different thing to help the family move on or get over whatever happened in their family, like schools,
Got it.
scholarships, things like that. And at the same time, all year round, they make fundraising, different fundraising they do on different events, like auctions,
Mhm.
stuff like that. And like the Navy SEAL Foundation, they do most of the foundation will be doing golf. They were like to play golf,
Mm.
so that's one of their function every year. They do that.
Okay. Great. Thanks for sharing that. And I'll definitely put the link on the show notes as well, for those who are listening or watching this, can
Yeah,
contribute to your to the
please
cause.
contribute because they did help me
Sure.
when I. It's not like anything that happened, but once a Navy SEAL retired or somebody from that community retired, they help them start up a new life. Like when I moved here in Austin, they helped the SEAL Legacy helped me here to move. Like he helped pay for my rent for the first 3 to 6 months. They helped my rent, and that's kind
Wow.
of like that's their pillar of helping. Okay, if you need help for your rent and stuff, you go to SEAL Legacy. You don't go to other foundations. It's kind of like you can't put your hand on other cookie jar, kind of like that. So
Right.
they have different pillar of
Right.
the way they help each person.
Okay. Awesome. Cool. No, thanks for sharing that. So kind of maybe what we could do, Art, is dial, do a bit of a flashback and go back in time and
Yes.
maybe talk about what got you to choose a career as a Navy SEAL.
Okay.
Tell us about that.
Well, it was back when we moved. I moved here from the Philippines in 2000,
Hmm.
1986 after graduating high school at 16. Still kind of young because
Hmm.
we don't have a seventh or eighth grade in the Philippines back then. We just go to sixth grade, then you go straight to high school. So I moved here in
Okay.
'86. Then I figured I'm gonna go back to high school. So I went to high school. My sister went
Hmm.
there, tried to enroll, and they told me, "You have a high school diploma?" I said, "Yes." Go to college. I'm like, I'm only 16. No, you have a diploma. Go to college. Like, okay. So I went to college. I was 16, go to college. But back in the '80s, you just for me, schooling is not really in me. I like sports more. Kind of like I like to be
Hmm.
physical. So my
Hmm.
mom pretty much told me either you go join the military or go back to the Philippines. So like I'm joining the military.
Hmm.
So I told her I'm gonna go join
Hmm.
the Marines, and she told me like, no, you're joining the Navy. Like, no, I want the Marines because as a kid you play toys with soldiers and stuff, so you want to be a Marine.
Yeah.
I wasn't playing sailboats or anything like that. I want to be a Marine.
Yeah.
So no, Navy. Like, so I ended up going to the Navy. The first thing they asked me on the
Hmm.
interview, like, so why do you want to join the Navy? And I
Hmm.
said, look, well, I'll say I'm only 16. Well, I was 19 then. I pretty much told them like, I want to see the world for free.
Hmm.
Because you travel the world. I want to see the world. Okay. So pretty much fast forward, I did 4 years. That was during the Gulf War, 89
Hmm.
to 93. Then I got out. Then I joined the reservists from 93 to 98. And during that time, I was training as a personal training in 24-hour fitness. And that's
Hmm.
when, with my back having opened with all the athletes there, I kind of figured out the triathlon at first, but I didn't really start the triathlon until I start pretty much quit smoking because my dad decided to quit smoking. I said, I'll quit smoking too. So I quit. And the way I quit
Hmm.
smoking is like a cold turkey. I smoked for 10 years.
Hmm.
One day, no cigarette, no
Hmm.
craving, no nothing like that. So I don't know what's wrong with me. So you don't have no craving? No, I don't want to smoke anymore. I don't want to smoke. So I did that. Then I pretty much figured out, okay, what can I do now? Like, oh, what's this triathlon thing? I was looking through magazine. Swim, I can
Hmm.
swim. Bike, oh, I can bike. Run, oh, I can run. I know how to run. So I look at the distance, like, oh, 500 meters. How long is that? Oh, that's about, let's just say 20 times on this pool. Like, what? That's a long. Like,
Hmm.
I can barely make it to the next side of the pool. Like, well, you just have to train. So I pretty much try to teach myself to swim. I usually go to, I think it was Blockbuster. They rent videos back then. So I watch the video,
Hmm.
then go to Bally's, back then. I don't think they have any more
Yeah,
Bally's
back then.
gym. I go to Bally's, start swimming, and people in the pool kind of help me. They watch me swim, and they go, oh, you're doing it wrong. You have to do it this way. So I kind of, okay, let me try. So I try swimming the way they told me. So I'll grab stuff they teach me that works for me, and anything they teach me that doesn't work, so I just put it aside. So I learned how to swim there. I said, you know what, I need to get better. So I look at some colleges, they have some swim class. Oh, maybe I'll join this master swim class. So I figured they're going to teach me. So I went to college,
Hmm.
but they don't really teach you. They just give you the workout and you do it. Like they told me to do butterfly and backstroke. Like, what's that? So I just kind of watch people like doing it. And that's when I found out, like, okay, some classes I took some VO2 max. That's where I learned my VO2 max back then was like, it was kind of high for some reason. I got some good VO2 max, like 72 per milliliter of blood, whatever they do it. Like, that's pretty high. So
Hmm.
I know I got the endurance then. So I pretty much talked to one of the clubs, which is they call themselves the Snail's Pace Triathlon Club. His name is Eddie, and I told him I want to join your club, but I don't know how to swim. But I know how to swim, but I don't know that how long this. Oh well,
But this was, where were you?
there was in
Was it in Austin that
California,
one?
Huntington Beach.
California.
Yeah, so I kind of
Okay.
joined their club. They kind of put me under their wing. They teach me how to swim. And I remember the first race I did, I tried to do a half Ironman right away in Wildflower.
Hmm.
So the biking wasn't that hard. It was easy for me to start riding a bike. I mean, my endurance just, I remember the first time I rode a bike with them, I cramp up, I pretty much bonk. And the first thing I want
Hmm.
to eat is like Cheetos. So like, we went to a place that I want the Cheetos right now and start eating the Cheetos. I'm never going to bonk again, ever. So, because I don't know how to, nutrition wise, I don't know. You just eat, whenever. You don't know. You just ride. And when you're
Yeah.
hungry, you eat. Then I found out
Right.
that's not the way to do it. So I run wasn't hard too. Running is easy, but the hardest part for people that begin triathlon is swimming. If you don't know, if you never
Hmm.
swim before as a kid, it's hard. I even asked one of my
Right.
coach. He coaches Janet Evans, the Olympian, and I even asked
Hmm.
him, "Can I be as fast as that?" Where there was a kid swimming in our lane, like a 10-year-old. Can I be as fast as him? Like, nope. Like, why? He's only 10 years old. I'm bigger. Like, nope, he can never be as fast as him. If he started right now, you can swim and swim, but he got the feel of the water. Like, I can feel the water. See, I feel the water. No, 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 not that way. What different? This is how you feel the water, right? No, it's not that way.
Yeah.
So right now, after how many years now? 98. Well, I started 97. No, when I
Hmm.
96 when I started. So it's how many years now? 96 to 2000, whatever. So many 30 something years. I start, yeah,
27 years,
27.
right?
I start to
Almost.
feel the water you're talking about. Like, oh, now this is how you
Wow.
feel the water.
It's taken
I'm
you.
making it
Hmm.
makes sense now how you feel the water. Got it, got it, got it. But after that, so during the military, then during the military, like I was in the reservists, right? And that's when I
Hmm.
first met the Navy SEAL. We were, they were like, we were doing training, and there were people coming in our helicopter. I was stationed in Point Mugu, and they were just reservist SEALs. I remember we went to Thailand, and they went with us to train over there for 2 weeks. Then after that,
Hmm.
I met a guy who wanted to go to the Navy SEAL training, and I started training with him a little bit. Then for some reason, after he left, I kind of went the other way and just do triathlon. I didn't even think of a Navy SEAL. Then when 99
Okay.
show up that year, my dad told me, "Why don't you join the military back? Go active again?" Like, I don't know.
Hmm.
So I like, you know what? Okay, I'll go back military. So I apply again, and pretty much got in again. I tried to be a medical guy, and they told me, "Oh, it's full. Just do what you did before." I was an aviation ordnance man. We built bombs and stuff like that. They call ourselves the mag rats because we're in the magazine building bombs for the planes. So I joined back. Then people like talking about SEALs, like, "Oh, I'm gonna do that." Because I'm thinking, if I'm gonna retire in Navy, I'd rather do something special, something. My dad always tell me, if you're gonna do something, don't just stick there. If you can move up, move up. Like, okay, so I'll try Navy SEAL. So swimming, I'm getting better on swimming. Then I did almost.
So one question I
Yeah,
have, you said you learned swimming, but for some reason, I'm assuming when you joined the Navy, aren't you kind
yeah,
of
you need to learn to
forced
swim,
to
but
learn
you
to
don't have
swim?
to swim 500 meters. You only swim 25 yards or 50 yards down and
Oh,
back. That's
really?
it. Then you learn to float and
Oh,
use your
okay.
uniform how to float, and that's how you survive.
Okay.
Trust me, there's a
Okay.
lot of people who
Okay.
can't
See, that's
swim.
what. Okay. See,
You think Navy, oh, can
we we
swim?
we,
Oh, yeah,
we
they can swim for a short distance. And they need a life raft
right.
after that.
Right.
Or salt water is always buoyant anyway, so you just float. You can just sit there and
Hmm.
float yourself up, without expending so much
Yeah.
energy. So they teach us how to do that. Eventually people start learning to swim. It's one of those things. I remember
Yeah.
one guy, this was, well, in the Navy SEAL, he never seen an ocean before or never really swim. He just started swimming when he joined and he became a Navy
Wow.
SEAL. So I mean, if you want to do it, you can do it, you know.
Hmm.
But it just so I joined back in. Then I started training for Navy SEAL. I even bought a video, class 2, 3, 4
Hmm.
in Discovery Channel. Remember buying the video and just to motivate me how to
Yeah.
train. Well, they didn't really show you how to train back then.
Hmm.
Now YouTube have floods of how to train,
Yeah.
right? Back then you just train what you see on the movies pretty much, or on that videotape that I saw. I pretty much just watch it. Oh, they do log PT, so I'll do endurance workout, kind of like that. So now that's what they call Spartan races, CrossFit.
Hmm.
So CrossFit is just like what we trained before. Do as much pull up, do as much of this kind
Yeah.
of endurance. So I joined back
Right.
in. I pretty much tried to apply. The first time I applied was 2003, and they told me I'm too
Hmm.
old already because the limit is
Okay.
28, and I was
Hmm.
33 then, right? So like, no, just send my package, send my package. So I kept pushing my package. So they finally, the CEO of my ship approved it, and he also sponsored me as an athlete because he found out I did an Ironman
Oh.
in Oceanside. The first Ironman I did, he found out I did it, so he said, "Oh, we should sponsor you." So, "Oh, okay, you're gonna give me a bike?" And no, you already have a bike. No, you're gonna give me a running shoe? No, you already have a running shoe. Like, what are you gonna give me? Just the registration. Like, okay, that's fine. Register and uniform. Okay, uniform. We'll give you uniform too. Just tell us where to buy it. Like, okay. So I thought I'm gonna get a brand new bike. Like, nope, you already have a bike. We don't need to give you a bike. Like, what? Okay. So they
I,
sponsored me.
I I think I think I think he figured sponsoring you would not cost much,
No,
so
that's why they
he
sponsored me. They
probably
just
had.
want to put the name of the ship in my arm or my shirt.
Hmm.
So I pretty much got sponsored by them. Then I pretty much, during our deployment, I ended up doing a duathlon in our ship. I started a duathlon race
Hmm.
in our ship. I think I'm probably the first one who started that duathlon in a ship. It's not a carrier, it's an LHD. So we carry Marines in there. So we have a flight deck on top, but it's not
Okay.
as big as the carrier
Hmm.
where the planes fly. We have planes, but they're Harriers. So they just vertical
Hmm.
and go, or helicopters, that's it. So we don't need a catapult
Hmm.
like the carriers have. But I started a duathlon there. I remember we did a 1 mile run on a treadmill, then a
Hmm.
bike on the life cycle, then a 3 mile run on the flight deck. So you just do a bunch of
Hmm.
laps to do 3 miles. I remember I was the director of the race, so then I found out that the Marines gonna be doing the relay. Like, oh, and I'm giving a trophy, a big trophy, like a trophy. Then if you win, you put the command on that trophy, and it get passed along the ship every year. I said, "Oh, I want
Hmm.
this to be ours. I'm gonna be on the relay team." And then the Marines like, "You can't be on the relay team. You're the race director." I don't care. I make the rule. So we won. I really didn't won because of me. I was running fast as hell. And I found out we have a race there, a 5K race in the flight deck. And that's the first time I met a Navy SEAL, like a Navy SEAL in the ship. Because I was running, I thought I'm going to win it. And this guy won. Like, who's that guy? Oh, he's a Navy SEAL. Like, oh, that's why he beat me. So I talked to him. Then I talked to the master ship that was in our ship to assign in our ship. And we were going to Australia and stuff. And he asked me, just keep running with us. We do this hash run. I don't know if you know about the hash run. You know the hash run?
I've heard about it.
It's that you drink beer.
Heard
I remember
about it.
doing it in Australia.
Yeah.
I remember finishing the hash run and I have a brand new shoe. And they told me, oh, brand new shoe, mate. You're drinking a beer inside your shoe. Like, what? They start pouring beer on my shoe and I had to drink it. Then, stupid me, I decided to put another shoe. It was brand new too. Oh, you're going to drink again? Like, what do you mean I'm going to drink again? So I end up taking the other pair of shoes. So I have 2 dry ones. So I drink another one. Like, now I'm wearing 2 different shoes throughout the time I was there during that day. But pretty much what the master chief told me, that what can I do to really make it through buds? So first thing first, when you go to McDonald's, supersize everything. Like, calories. Because you're going to burn a lot of calories. If you don't eat, you won't have no fuel. Right. Eat for now, and that's it, and just work out pretty much. So I kind of took his advice, but then when McDonald's got supersized, Then after that, so I got approved to go to class 247. That was the class number, 247. And in that class, I don't know if you know him, is Johnny Kim, the Navy SEAL that became a doctor, that became an astronaut. He was in my class. He graduated in that class. But I went through the class. I did the first phase. Then during Hell Week, I think that's the time my son was born in January. I already have 1 son. Then our Hell Week is in September that year. So it was kind of like still summer, but the water is always cold.
What's a Hell Week?
Hell Week is it's almost like a week of nonstop just workout training. It's almost simulated like a war. You're in a war. You just mentally and physically try to exhaust you and see who come out at the end of the training. And those are usually 15% of the class. That's the goal. So, I mean, not the goal, but that's how it is. Usually either 25 to 15%, 15 to 25% always make it. Doesn't matter if you put a 300 or 1,000 in there, it's always going to end up 15% to 25% going to finish the training. I mean,
and how many hours in a day do you?
The whole day. I mean, 24 hours, except for two days.
24 hours.
You only get about 4 hours sleep on the Hell Week.
For 5 days.
You only get 4 hours sleep. And you really don't sleep because you just, from what I see people, when I was helping with Hell Week, they're just twitching. Like literally, they're just twitching there for 2 hours. Some people don't just have their eyes open. They can't even sleep.
So one thing is interesting because now you're not young anymore in the sense. Yes, you're relatively young. You're in your 30s, and I guess there are other people out there in their 30s or maybe late 30s, and going through something like this isn't easy.
No,
right?
It's not easy. It's all really mental. Because when I went through it, as I said, I was 33 years old when I first went in there. Then during Hell Week, the 3rd day of Hell Week, that's when, the instructor will be playing with you. They'll be ringing the bell or somebody will ring the bell. And for that day, I hear people ringing the bell, and everybody's like, man, I'm going to quit. So I ended up quitting on that class. I went, as soon as I rang the bell, I walked to the tent where they hold everybody that quit. I sat down, and the first thing on my head is like, what did I just do? Then I told myself, I'm coming back. So they processed me out. I went to another command. And before I went to that command, I need to help some of the class that was on Island, which is the 3rd phase of BUDS, which is the last phase. And I was helping them with their training before they sent me back to the fleet, they call. So I was watching them, and man, I'm coming back. I'm going back for sure. I was watching them training and said, I'm motivated. I'm going back. I don't know why I ring the bell. So I went to my next command, and my next command told me pretty much the first thing he told me, like, you're too old. You're 34. They're not gonna approve you. Like, I don't care. I'll just train. So I trained, and they made me to a PT instructor, kind of like their PT coordinator. So I do all the workout for them every morning. So they told me, we still have you for 3 years. Like, I can't be here for 3 years because I'll be really old then. I'm 34, all this stuff. Like, no way I can be here for 3 more years because I don't think they're gonna put. So I tried pushing my package, training, taking the test, medical process, and everything. It was good, except for them not signing it because they can't release me. So okay, you don't want to release me? Let's do some training then. So I started training there. We're going up the mountain. On some of my training, I let them hike the mountain, and I usually bring a mountain bike that whoever gets there first get to ride the mountain bike down. But usually I give it to the last person who makes it there. I give you the mountain bike, and you go right back down. So they pretty much, people getting hurt left and right. So they pretty much say, we need to get him out of here before he kills us. So one day, one of the chief called me, Del Rio, like, yeah, chief, come on, we're gonna talk to your detailer and see if we can get you out of here. Like, really? Okay. Then so we call the detailer, and the detailer like, I can't replace him for another 2 years. Like, we don't care. Get him out of here. We can suffer for 2 years without him here. Like, oh wait. Then they approved me. I sent my package. Then the package came. Well, the master chief and the detailer called me from the SEAL saying, we need to send us a picture. I'm like, huh? You want a picture? I'm like, okay. So I shaved my head, went to the gym, workout. Then I told my buddy, take a picture of me. Come hurry up, take a picture. Then I send the picture to them. Then 2 days later, they call me like, yeah, you have a class 257. Like, oh, cool. That's almost 10 class after my first class. I was 257. So I went back to Buds in 2005. I was already 30.
So when you say buds, what is buds? Can you
Basic
explain?
underwater demolition seal,
Okay.
Buds.
So that's like a program.
Yeah, program for SEAL training. After Buds, you go SQT.
Okay, and all this is happening on a ship?
No. It's happening in Coronado.
No. Okay.
Yeah, in Coronado. That's where the Buds is right now, in Coronado.
Okay.
Across the bridge, pretty much. Another island, I guess. So I went through. I was 36 when I started. Went through training. It was hard. One of my classmates he looked at me like, you're like my dad. Like, why? He's the same age as you. Like, what? Oh, now you can call me dad. Usually, the old guy, they call him Papa Smurf because I'm the short guy too. So I'm in the Smurf crew. And usually they call me Papa Smurf because of my age. They call me Grandpa Smurf. I'm a Grandpa Smurf now. And the tall guys, they call them Green Giants. The tall guys, they're the Green Giants. They're the Smurf. But I went through the training, and every training is always when you're young, you can recover fast. When you get old, like 30, 35, kind of like that, you wake up the next morning, it's like you're still in pain. Like, I'm so sore. So pretty much, I usually get they call them a vitamin M, like Motrin, every morning. I always ask for Motrin. I need Motrin. Like, what's the evolution today? Water? Oh, I don't want Motrin. I'll be cold. Because when your blood thins up, you get cold easy. So what are evolution today? So I'll look at the evolution. Oh, we got water evolution. We're going to get cold. I don't want Motrin today. I'll deal with the pain. There's no water. Okay, give me the Motrin. I'll take the Motrin.
No, I think what I'm hearing is that obviously for most of people who are listening to this probably have never been a Navy SEAL, right? Or they've not gone through. So it seems like the intensity of the training that you've had. There's physical, but there's a huge mental component.
It's like 20% physical and 80% mental, really.
Mental.
If you do it that way.
Right.
I'll say most of it is mental.
Right.
I mean, as I said, you can be as physically fit as you can, but if you don't have mental, you're just going to quit. It's something, if everything gets pushed to shove, it's like, no, I'm done. This is not what I want.
Cool.
Either you want it or not.
So
pretty much. So I graduated.
Makes a lot of sense.
So I graduated there as 37. And when I graduated, we have a guest speaker, which is retired Admiral Phoebus, and this guy is just a guy. I mean, he has a disease that he doesn't grow any hair, no eyebrow, no hair, no facial hair at all anywhere. I don't know what kind of it's not a disease. It's just like I don't know what's going on. But anyway, he was reading our bio of the class, like, oh, the class did this, that, and there's a 37-year-old graduating today. like what? Del Rio, stand up. So I stood up. I'm like, I got something for you. Like, okay, yeah. Then when during our graduation after SQT, pretty much there's a board where all the trident is. You know, the hardware trident. You know, the eagle with the anchor and the trident on it, and the gun. But usually he grabbed a new one and pinned it to you know. Then when it was my turn, he still, okay, wait. Then he took his trident and pinned it on me.
Wow.
So I'm like, whoa. So right now that trident is in my case. I put it right there on my case. I don't know if you can see it. It's on top right there.
Nice. Yeah.
It's right there.
Wow.
So I kept it. I said, I'm going to keep this. This is mine. So after I graduated, and before we graduate, we usually get this K-bar knife. You see the K-bar knife up there underneath the picture?
Yeah.
There's a K-bar knife. And on those K-bar knives, they call it a knife ceremony. You get the name of a missing in action or killed in action Navy SEAL. Mm-hmm. Mine, when I was my first deployment was in Iraq. I was reading a hands-on magazine from the military. I'm like, okay. Then I saw this guy, like, oh, Medal of Honor, blah. And I read his name, like, oh, Michael Murphy. That sounds familiar. So I called my wife, said, hey, can you check my K-bar knife from the graduation, see what name is on it? And it was Michael Murphy. You know, the Red Wing that he passed away. I mean, you see the movie, the Navy SEAL movie. I don't know, what's the title of that? Lone Survivor. The Lone Survivor movie, that's what it is. And his name is on that. So I got a trident from the retired Admiral Phoebus and a knife with his name on it. So I'm like, man, this is special. So I kept all of that. So I graduated and everything. And my key thing, I'm one of the oldest guys who graduated, and a Filipino. The key thing about but it's like a thing we say when we go to training. If there's like 5 Filipinos and you got 5 African American, they usually look at each other and say, there can only be one. And in my class, there was 5 Filipinos, and we look at each other and say, there can only be one, and I'm the one that graduated. So that's like a joke on everything. Like, if you have this much, you have ginger, they call, you know, ginger red hair. There'll only be one, but there's 2 red hair that graduated in my class. We're like, okay. Wow. It's fun. But that's pretty much a Navy SEAL. And, you know, I deployed with a SEAL and everything. And the triathlon really helped me as a SEAL. Doing the training, cramping and everything, and I push through cramp. You know, people cramp up and they're like, oh, I'm done. Like, no, you're not done. Just keep moving those legs. So I learned that during my triathlon days before I did the training, going to buds. And I learned how to fuel and all this stuff. So you really need to know how to fuel and all this stuff. And I always had to put in 110% because as an old guy going through buds, you can't save anything really because you don't know when you're going to fail. In bud, and when you fail something, they look at your record and what you did. They're like, hey, it's mediocre. No, we don't need to keep him. But if you're, okay, it's good. Oh, he only messed up on this. Oh, we can fix that. So that's what happened. So I started with 257, but I graduated 258 because during pool comp, I failed one of the tests, which is threading water.
What's 257?
Oh, that's my first. That's the class that I went back the second time. So after Hell Week, I finished with them with the Hell Week. But during our second phase, which is the dive phase, we have a training. We have one of the training that either pass or fail. Is the threading water with your hands up with the 2 twin tank on your back and a 13-pound weight on your waist, and you're kicking with fins. And you do that for 5 minutes, and you can't put your hands up. If you put your hands down, you're done. you fail. But you can't stop. You just keep doing it. So the story on that is, I have a good story on that, because the first time I jumped on the water with that, they told me, don't use your hand. I said, okay, I'm going to use my hand. I jump in. I went straight to the 15-foot bottom, and I was kicking there like this, with my hands up, kicking underwater, looking up. Everybody's just like, duck. Some of the people are just trying to swim. Like, I was just kicking right there. They told me not to put my hands down, so I'm like kicking at the bottom, really scraping the floor. Like, what the heck I'm doing? Like, the instructor, I look at the instructor look at me like, what? Going like this, like, and I can't breathe. I'm holding my breath. And even when he started seeing me doing the chicken neck, he came down and looked at me in my face, like, what the hell are you doing? Kind of on the mouth. And I'm like, then I started pretty much drowning. Really, I can feel the vision just going down. So he grabbed me, pulled me back up, put me on the side. Like, why didn't you use your hand? You told me not to use my hand. You stupid goat. So they usually put you to the left, go to the left side, meaning you fail. You go to the right side, you pass. So I did it again. Every time I do that, I'm always in the bottom. Like this time, I'm kind of halfway. Okay, I'm getting better. I'm halfway now. Same thing. Grab me again. When you use your hand? Well, you told me not to use my hand. If you told me to use my hand, I'll use my hand. Get out of here. You fail. So then they rolled me to the next class. Next class, we practice. I practice. It's just so hard. And the fins I'm using, they call it a duck feet, which is like, for me, when you kick that, it's almost like putting a 2x4 on your feet and you try to kick it. But now they have these other fins they use that they call it, I can't remember those fins. I don't know why my head is just getting blank. But anyways, better fins, right, than the duck feet they call, which they used back in World War II and stuff like that. But eventually I passed it. But this time when I passed it, I was just kicking. I didn't know you can put your head down underwater and have your hands up. Because if you have your head above water, it's a little bit heavier. But if you sink your head down, it's a little bit easier because you don't have this head you have to carry off the water. But as long as your hands up, I say, oh, well, that's a trick. So I start going down and start kicking. But the next thing you know, my weight belts start coming off. Like, oh, no, don't come off. And the instructor tried to help me push it up so it doesn't come off. Because if it come off, I start over again. Like, I don't want to start over again. So he tried, and he pretty much let go. Then I was like, oh, no. So I'm just kicking, finish the 5-minute, swim back and forth, pass. They told me, okay, go to the right. But what I hear kind of in my head is go to the left. So I went to the left. Like, no, you pass. Oh, yeah, go to the right. To the right, yeah. So I go in there. They check my tank, make sure it's not too low. It's supposed to have like 1,200 PSI on there or something, make it neutral. But mine was heavier, they said. Oh, shoot, his tank is heavier. He still passed. His tank was heavier. Oh, shoot, they check everything, make sure everything, like, okay, you passed. Okay. Everyone was yelling, yeah, finally. And I'm the cartoonist of the class. A cartoonist, you have to draw everything, every day, something funny about the instructors. And every morning you put it on the front of their door and you try to hear them if they laugh as they go to their door. If they laugh on your joke or the class joke, it'll be a good day. If they don't laugh, they say, this is stupid, it's going to be a beat down that day. So you have to make sure they laugh every day. So the class will tell me what happened. I kind of know what happened. So I kind of start drawing it. And oh, that's funny. Do that. So I do all the cartoons pretty much. Throughout that time, I was in buds. But that training was the fun training for me, the second phase, because you go underwater, no instructor yelling at you. It's really peaceful. And there's another one thing that happened there. They call it a night body exchange, meaning let's say you were wearing the dive suit and I don't have anything, and we'll be masked out dark. Of course, we start with, we can see each other first, then we do it at dark when you can't see each other, just feel. And I had to grab all the gear from you and you had to give it all to me underwater while we're breathing. They call it body breathing.
Wow.
So you breathe. For some reason, so I have a partner. It was his turn, so I can't see him. So we start body breathing. You have to do it step by step. If you miss one step out of 30 steps, you fail. But you don't know what you do till you finish the step. If you mess it up or not, the instructor will tell you you pass or you fail. So I was passing and
Hmm.
stuff, and next, I gave him 3 times body breathe. Then I grab it, and I'm just waiting for him to ask for it again. Then
Hmm.
throughout the passing of my gear to him, he never asked for air. I'm like, he can hold his breath. So I kind of touch him,
Hmm.
make sure he's still alive. Like, it's been 5 minutes and you're not asking for air. What's wrong with you? So he's working. Like, okay, he's working. I guess it's still good. Then we finish it, and we came up, and I look at the instructor, and the instructor look at me, and he's just looking like they're like, okay, we passed or not. And the instructor like, Del Rio, he can hold his breath, huh? Like, yeah, he never asked for air. Like, yes, I did. What do you mean you did? He never asked for air from me. The instructor like, you see those other partner beside you? We were bouncing too much. I guess that he ended up hitting one of the guy with the air tank and thought that was me. So he was tapping him every time, and the guy was getting confused. Like, I just give you the air. What are you asking for again? And the other guy, his partner, was asking for air too. So he's going back and forth, back and forth. Like, what's wrong with you guys? You can't hold your breath. And you were there just chilling and watching him, make sure he's alive. So yeah, look at the instructor. Like, did we pass? I really wish I have a video of that. But you were there. You're calm and everything. Yeah, I guess you passed. Like, okay, thanks. I really wish I have that video. That was, I think it never happened like that before, ever. I think never. I
Yeah.
think it haven't happened yet. I think I'm the only one that happened to my partner that he ended up hitting somebody and ended up thinking it was me because he can't see. They were just passing.
Yeah.
But that's the best
Oh.
phase I ever been in when I was training. But all those memories just
Hmm.
flood back to me. I'm like, that was crazy. But we went to third phase. Then we went to San Clemente Island for our third phase. They call it the Rock. Nobody hear you scream in there. Pretty much, just the instructor always tells
Hmm.
you, nobody can hear you scream on this island, which is that an island of Catalina. Catalina Island
Hmm.
in California is another 25 miles. It's like another island. They call it Sacramento Island, which they do test the missile, the whatever bombs they have from Point Magoo, where I used to train my command. They usually shoot it over there. But I don't know if they still do it now. But that's training.
So how long were you in?
Oh,
So you got
so Buds is
you you,
six
you
months. Yeah,
graduated.
Buds is
Hmm.
6 months. After Buds, you go to SQT, another 6 months. So it's a total of
Hmm.
a year. Depending if you got rolled to another class, then maybe you'll go to a year and a half before you get your trident.
And how long did you serve?
A
Until
year.
what? When did you
I
retire?
started in 2005
Hmm.
June. I graduated in 2006 October 13. Friday the 13th too. It's Friday the 13th when I graduated. Then I went to Iraq on December. I did some training,
Hmm.
then I went straight to Iraq.
And then and when did you
I
retire?
retired in 2015.
Okay,
May,
so about
yeah, yeah,
nine
yeah.
years.
Almost 10 years with the training
Okay,
and everything, I'll say 10
right,
years.
right.
Then 4 years in the service, then another 4 years. Pretty much total years is 24 years active
Hmm.
before I retire.
Okay, let's get into the
Okay.
triathlon journey right after your retirement. And this is what
Yeah.
2015, and you've been kind of doing triathlons, Ironman every year.
Yeah.
You've qualified for world championships. You've been doing some super duper finishes. So tell us about that, and
Okay.
maybe talk a little bit about maybe your top three training hacks
Okay.
that's working, and what do you how do you do it, yeah, and maybe that's something that audience and listeners would be interested in,
Okay.
given
So
given what you do.
triathlon is almost like a healing for me. Like going
Mm.
110 miles an hour and going 5 miles an hour kind of slow you down. Like you want to keep pretty much. I like the suffer in silence they call in the teams. Like suffer in silence. We don't want to hear
Mhm.
you suffering. Don't cry. Cry inside of you. Don't cry in front of me. So doing Ironman training and stuff is like I like waking up in the morning and working out. That's what we always do in the team. We work out in the morning. So that's what I want to do every morning. I want to wake up,
Mm.
work out, do as much as I can, then help the kids in school, which I did, which I
Mm.
did those
Mm.
other things,
Mm.
decoration and stuff. but I train at
Right,
the same
right,
time.
right.
I remember going do the training there. Then once you start training, it helped me calm down. I think when I'm
Hmm.
tired, it kind of calmed me down a little bit because in the team you're like gunning and running, everywhere. So training for me like 5 6 days a week. I try to have Sunday off. But the
Hmm.
triathletes usually their Sunday off is swimming. We have to swim. There's our off day swimming. But so I start thinking about making a foundation like a RED4,
Hmm.
which I started. I figured back in 2016 when I was thinking about it, like, maybe I'm not gonna go on for another 3 years before I put in the website and stuff. But one of my buddy in my neighborhood told me, "Oh, there's this guy Bob. He wants to learn to swim. Can you show him how to swim?" Like, sure. So I went to the pool, started swimming with him. Then he started talking. Then he started asking me, "What do you want to do?" Like, well, I'm thinking of doing this RED4, but I think it's not gonna happen for another 3 years. Like, what's that? Oh, I'm thinking doing supporting this three Navy SEAL Foundation using RED4, racing for everyone deployed. Like, oh, we can start it now. Like, what? So yeah, I'll sponsor you for that to get that thing started. Just find me who's gonna build the website. So I found one of the parents who build the website. Said, "Oh, I'll help you. I'll give it you for free." Like, okay. So I show him everything I need for the website, what I want it to look like, and all this stuff. So we launched the website within 2018. We started Red4 right away. Like, oh, thanks. Oh,
So is that is that a training? Is that something that you um, do you offer
oh
training through
no, no,
this
pretty much
to
like
other people?
being our team. The Red4 is
Hmm.
you pretty much buy the kit. I don't make any money of it. You just buy the kit, and
Hmm.
it shows the logo of the Navy SEAL Foundation, all this stuff, and the website. They can go in, and then they can look at how to donate things like that. So we just try to
Okay.
bring awareness. But if they want training,
Got it.
I'll train them. But I don't really
Sure.
advertise that. Like people I
Sure.
learned, they pretty
Sure.
much ask me, "Oh, how I do this? You can train with me, and I'll help you. You don't have to, I don't charge you. I'll just help you." Then the key thing about Red4 is just to bring awareness to my Navy SEAL Foundation that we support by just wearing the kit. You can look at it on our website, teamred4.org. You'll see our mission there on how we do it and stuff. Then pretty much just training with them. Then after a couple more years, then I said like I want to do Ironman now. I want to train for Ironman. Maybe I'll do Ironman. So in 2019, I tried to uh, go. I did the half Ironman first in Waco. Then
Oh, the first
the
time.
first time I did in Waco,
Oh.
and I remember they
So question there, right? Between the time you retired and for like 4 years, you were still doing triathlons, but they were smaller ones.
yeah,
You know,
the
you were
smaller
not
ones.
doing
I
the
did the
Ironman,
sprint.
smaller
And
ones,
I
the
remember
local ones.
signing up in 2016 in Austin. I said, "Oh, I'll just do the super
Hmm.
sprint," and it was only 350
Okay.
meter swim, a 10-mile bike, and a 2-mile run. Then I got there the day before the race, like, man, this is too short. How much more for a
Hmm.
sprint? Regular, oh, $35. Okay, I'll do the sprint. So I ended up doing the
Hmm.
sprint.
Hmm.
Then after that, like, I need longer one. I need a longer one. It's too short. So I did some Live Armstrong, the Century ride they do in Austin every year. So I did that
Okay.
one. Then I said, I'm gonna do some Ironman. So I want to start training longer and longer. Then I
So
registered for
question
yeah
there. I have a question there, right? So you talked about
yeah
age,
yeah
right? You started your birth training like in
Mhm.
your late
yeah yeah
30s. You have now retired, right, in 2015. You're like in your
40
mid
yeah yeah.
40s or late 40s. And what did you get better, or and how was your body taking all this training
Well, as
and all this
long my
intensity?
body, I guess all this training I did in the SEAL kind of helped me prepare me for doing the
Hmm.
Ironmans. You know
Okay.
how to then of course reading some books and stuff like watching people train. And
Hmm.
as I said, you can every all the training doesn't really work on anybody. It could work for you, it could work for him, but you just have to
Hmm.
finesse it. Like, okay, if I do it this way, maybe it's better than if you do it that way. Oh, this worked
Right.
better than the way he's doing it. So that's how I kind of learned. Then, as I said, try
Sure.
that. You mentioned try that. I apply to them, to be their ambassador, and they're giving me training. And when they give me training, I kind of adjust it a little bit Because sometimes, okay, this doesn't work. I'm just too little. I need more. So I started doing it. But I remember doing the first training with Tridot. They told me you're gonna do it in 5 hours and let's say 10 minutes, and they were close. I made it in 5 hours and 9 minutes. Like, man, that's pretty on the money right there. They know what they're
So
saying.
that's a
Yeah,
2019.
when I
That's
was
a
doing the half
2019
Ironman,
Waco.
I'm like, okay, so let me
Hmm.
try doing a full Ironman. So they start giving me training, but it's so expensive. So I'm like, okay, I'll just pay the basic one. Then I'll just adjust it
Hmm.
because I kind of know how to train myself. But I remember
Right,
when I
right,
first
right.
started back in the 90s, I just work. I mean, train, train, train. There's no like easy run. Everything is the same.
Hmm.
I don't know how
Yeah.
to train back then, so I just train. But I was still placing on my age group, but not where I
Hmm.
wanted. But this time I kind of know how to do it. So I registered to do the Ironman in Houston, the Woodland, in 2020. So
Mm-hmm.
fast forward to that, the pandemic hits. So they
Right.
postponed it. So I'm like April 24, I think it was the date. They postponed it, saying we can't do it because of the pandemic, blah, blah, blah. So I said, you know what? I'll just do my Ironman here at home. On the date I'm supposed to do
Mm.
it, I'll do it. So I end up doing it here in my house. I did a bungee cord for an hour, just doing this with a bungee cord for an hour, watching TV. Then I know the bike route I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go out to a 28 mile out, 28 mile back, so 26. I do it like 20. Yeah, I mean 28. So I'm like do that twice, so that's 112. So I did 112, then I ran the marathon here in my neighborhood. I got a 3 mile loop. I have
Wow.
my aid station in my driveway and another aid station on my friend's Bob, who I taught how to swim. I said, man, I'm going to do the Ironman. Are you crazy? No, I'm going to do the Ironman. Okay, I'm going to put my truck bed there, and you're going to have water, sponges, whatever, ice if you want it. Like, okay, thanks. So I started running, right?
And what was the bungee
The
thing
bungee
you
cord
talked
is like
about?
it's like those regular bungee
Oh, for the
for the
swim.
swim, yeah, with a paddle. So
Oh,
I
you
just do this
you
for an
swam.
hour. Dry swimming, they
Oh
call
my
it dry
God.
swimming. So I just continue swimming, and I was watching TV, which I like. And I'm not laying down. I'm just standing up, and I put the bungee on the ceiling and just pulling on it, like make sure I stretch me out and
Whoa.
pull. So I did that. I finished, and I remember on the marathon I was running. It was April in Texas, so it was hot. I'm like, this is stupid. Why am I doing this? So I just keep going, thinking of Buzz, like, okay, just push through, just push through. It was hot. I'm like, oh, whatever, just hot. It's always going to be hot in Texas, doesn't matter. So I finish it. So during the
Mm.
night, I'm like thinking, let me call my friends, see if they want to do it too. So I kind of text everybody, hey, anybody want to do the Ironman? You can do it in one day, you can do it in 3 days, swim one day, bike one day, run one day. You can do it 1 week or 2 weeks. If you do it 1 week or 2 weeks, just send me the distance you did that day. Let's say you bungee for 20 minutes,
Mm.
you run for 3 miles, you bike for 10 miles. And I'll have a spreadsheet and I'm going to add all the numbers. And once you completed the distance, then I'll give you a t shirt saying finisher. And I call it
Mm.
COVID-19 Shakeout Ironman Texas.
Okay.
So I have at least 20 people who did it. My
Fun.
wife did it too. And she never ride a
Wow.
bike that long, but during the pandemic, they have a group of ladies just riding their bikes every day. Every
Okay.
day. And I said, if you're gonna ride the bike every day, why don't you do the Ironman? I said, oh, okay, I'll do the Ironman. And we walked to it. And the last day of his
Mm.
second, because it took her 2 weeks to do it. So the last day of the 2 week, I told her, baby, you still have to do 1 hour of swimming. You haven't done it yet. What? I have to do an hour? Like, yeah. So I'll do it right here. I'll watch you on, while I'm watching TV, you do the bungee cord. So, okay, you should start doing it. 5 minutes, then here she rests. Then she do another 5 minutes, she rests. 10 minutes, then she rests. Then she get an hour. So I'm like, okay, you finish your timer. Here's your t-shirt. So everybody get a t-shirt, about 20 of them. I gave them t-shirts. Some people did it in 3 days. Some people did it in 1 week. Some people did it in 2 weeks. So I put the collage of them pictures and sent it. I don't know if you know, there's a show in UK called GTN, Global
Hmm. Oh
Triathlon
yeah.
Network. I
Yeah.
send them that as a pinup, picture at the end of their show. They usually send pinup picture. They show picture, and I send it to them. thinking, let's see if they show it on the video. And they did. The next week they did, like, and there's Arthus, who did an Ironman, blah blah blah. Then he showed the picture of the collage I made, like, oh, blah, 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 like, oh shit. And they're on. If you want to see it, it's in GTN episode 150. That's you're gonna see there towards the end of the show where they had the pinups. Then since then, I've been in their show 8 times. The last time was 2 weeks ago. Then I put in another picture from the Nice Ironman. And 2 days ago, I sent it to them. So I'm thinking if they're gonna show it next week. I think episode 320. I think they're in 320 right now. So I'm gonna watch the 320 and see if they show it to me there. Because 3 weeks before that, what's that?
When you share this, right? One thing that that occurs to me is that I think the endurance athletes, triathletes, runners, bicyclists, whatever, right? During COVID, made creative use of the time to do different things, right? Nobody was sitting quiet or nobody was sitting sedate. They were actually doing something, and what you just shared only reminds me of that.
Yeah, my wife, we rode one day 53 miles in our neighborhood. Took us 4 hours. So she was riding. She got a mountain bike. I changed her mountain bike tire to a skinny tire because she wanted to go faster. So I tried to find the smallest tire I can put on that mountain bike, and she rode it. We rode it for 53 miles, a 3-mile loop. Just imagine 3 miles going in circle. I mean, it's not a circle, but neighborhood. We just keep going back and forth, back and forth. It took us 4 hours and a half, I think, to do 53 miles. And that's her longest ride. And now she rides with me every Saturday, Friday. We try to ride. We just finished. And you run today, right? You did your long run, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did about 9 miles today on the track, just running there, doing my track workout. Because I really want a podium next year in Kona.
Wow. So let's talk about that, right? This happened 2020 virtual, made it virtual. You seem to have gamified it, created this for everybody else, and then 2022.
No,
2021.
No, 2021. So they keep postponing the race, right?
Yeah.
All the way that Waco end up happening. I mean, that Woodland end up happening in Waco in October of 2020.
Okay.
That's when it happened. So I ended up racing there, and that's when I qualified for the World Championship in Utah on May 6th of 2021. So I did the race there May 6th. So I trained till May 6th. Then I drove from Texas to Utah. It took me close to 20 hours of driving to Utah. Just to drive, because I don't want to take the plane, because I don't want to put my bike next. I lost my bike and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So I just drove, right? I drove there, got there, then raced there. Then I finished. I think I finished 26. I think I finished 26 on my age group. And I asked my buddy was there. He did about 11 Ironman in Kona. I kind of met this guy. He's from Switzerland. I just met him there. He said he goes to. I saw him eating in my hotel for breakfast, right? He's smart, I guess. So I said, "Oh, you staying here?" Like, no, I stay on another hotel. I just come in for breakfast. Like, what? Smart guy. Anyway, so he told me during the roll down of the Ironman slot, he said, "Oh, you're going to get it." Like, man, I'm 26. There's no way I'm going to get the slot. Like, I'm not taking, because he played 16. For some reason, he had a bad day that day. He usually top 5, top 3, that guy. But
isn't that the one that had a bad swimming segment? A lot of
which one?
There was some thunderstorms. Was it the 2021?
I think that was no. I think that was in somewhere else. I know the water was cold. I know that. It was during our practice. It was 57 degrees. Then during the race, it was still low 60s. But he had a bad day there. So the next thing you know, the roll down kept coming down. Then they call my name, like, I'm going. So I'm going to Utah. I'm going. So I ended up qualifying for Utah. Then I did Utah in 2021. Then I qualified from Utah to Kona on the same on where were we? 2021. Yeah, we did 2021. Well, I'm kind of confused. Okay, I did 2 world championships in 1 year. Oh, it was 2022. Yeah, there you go. 2022, I did the Utah because I qualified in October 2021 to go to Utah. Then May of 2022, I qualified to go to Kona on October of 2022. So I did 2 world championships in 1 year. So which is good. I never done it. No, I don't know. Some people did it too, I guess. But the key thing about
Oh.
Kona, once I finished Kona, I did the race on Thursday with a female because they had to split the race between the female and male because there's too many of us. So I did the race on Thursday, finished the Thursday, woke up Friday, wasn't sore. I feel like I didn't do the race. So I'm like, what's wrong with me? What's going on with me? So I said, okay, I'll ride on Saturday during the men's race and ride to Javi and back, do a 100-mile bike ride and see how I feel. So I did a 100-mile bike ride in Javi on Saturday, woke up on Sunday, still not sore. I'm like, what's wrong with me? I should be sore. I should be walking like a
What's right
zombie.
with you?
Like the people are walking like a
What's
zombie.
right?
And I'm like, I'm not. I'm like running around. So I called my sponsor, which I met in Dallas that year before Kona to do I call a shakeout ride. So I did the Dallas PTO, and that's where I met him. I told him I'm going to Kona. I was like, okay, call me when you get back. Like, okay. So I called him Sunday. I said, hey, Julian, can you register me in Waco next weekend for the Ironman? Like, you just did an Ironman. You're not tired? Like, bro, I'm not tired. I did the Ironman, then I did 100 miles Saturday. I'm not tired. Sign me up. Like, I don't know if they're open because it's kind of late. Like, I'll text you back. So he texted me back Monday. Said, yeah, you're in. You're registered. Like, yes. So I flew back to the mainland, did the Waco Ironman. Then that's what I said. When after I get off the bike, I asked somebody, like, because I know they're giving away 6 slots for the Ironman championship again. So I'm like, hey, can you check my number and see what place I am? And that's where the lady told me, you're first place. Like, yes. How far is sixth place? I said, it's an hour away from you. Like, oh, cool. I can take my time. So during that run, I was like taking pictures with people. Because guess what? My
Oh.
sponsor, I gave him my transition bag to put it on T2 after the bike. And when I grabbed my bag, I looked at it like, is that a cowboy hat? I have to wear this? Like, shoot. So I ended up wearing a cowboy hat the whole marathon. I was wearing a cowboy hat. So
Okay.
everyone was having fun with me, like, yeah, this is cool, taking pictures with me. I'm stopping and going. I'm not really running because I figured the sixth place is way behind me anyway. I'll get the spot. And that's where I finished fourth place on that race. And then they called me, and I was on the post video because they usually have a post video on Sunday because we did the race on Saturday. Post video of the Ironman, and they showed me they're getting interviewed and everything. My cowboy hat, and the guy told everybody, like, "Hey, this guy just finished Ironman last weekend, and now he qualified again. Like he's lucky. I want to
Wow.
see you." Because he told me, "You better take the spot." Like I will. So they told me I got the spot, and then they changed it now that they had to do it in Nice, France, but you can defer it to Kona for 2024. So I end up deferring it to 2024. Then I asked my sponsor if I can do Texas Ironman this year to qualify for Nice.
So you didn't go.
No, no,
Okay.
because
Okay.
this year it was in Nice, France for the male. So that's why I had to do the
Okay.
Ironman in Texas this last April in Woodland to qualify for Nice because my sponsor is
Okay.
going. So we qualified both the same time in Texas Ironman for Nice. So we went to Nice, but now I did my world championship for the third time in Nice. So I did one in Utah, one in Kona, one in Nice. So 3 different world championships, 3 different venues. And now I already qualified for Kona I defer it because I said, okay, either you go to Nice or Kona, which one? So I'll put it on Kona. I'll just race somewhere else to qualify for Nice, which I did. So far I did 5 Ironmans right now, and I did
Hmm.
3 World Championship. So which is good, I
Wow.
think. And this all started in
So
2021.
so what is working for you? I mean, you said you're not getting tired, you're performing better. What's going on? Give us some
Well,
hacks,
here's the fact.
tips.
I think it's my nutrition. If you replace
Hmm.
everything, you're still gonna be sore, but not.
Hmm.
When you cramp up the next day, you like the muscle you cramp is really sore.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
it's all about nutrition. And like for me,
Hmm.
I imagine myself like an engine. Engine needs fuel. Engine needs oil. And engine needs
Hmm.
battery, right? Fuses, whatever the thing.
Hmm.
So for me, fuel will be like glycogen, carbohydrate, simple
Hmm.
sugar, whatever you can put for fuel. Then oil will be just salt. Salt, really?
Salt.
Yeah, that's oil. Just
Hmm.
imagine if you have no salt or oil, the engine locks, right?
Hmm.
So just
Hmm.
like
Hmm.
your body, if there's no salt, you cramp. So if I say you're
Hmm.
cramping. So I remember doing the Ironman, my nutrition bottle fell off on the back in
Hmm.
Kona. But for some reason, every time I do race, except for knees, my fuel always coming off for some reason, and I end up just
Hmm.
taking salt and water throughout
Hmm.
the 112-mile bike ride, and I was fine. But as long as I'm
Like
taking
just regular
salt water,
table
yeah,
salt.
I
Or
mean Himalayan salt.
wow.
Himalayan salt. You
Hmm.
can I don't well emergency. Yeah, you take that thing end up right there. Because I remember in Waco, I lost my salt for some reason. My salt is empty. Like what the heck happened to my salt? So I was asking for salt, and they don't have salt. All they have is chips and pretzel. So I start eating chips and pretzel. Then I start going to the bathroom after that was solid food. I just ingested and stuff. Like I can't. So just salt and water. I did the whole Ironman salt water, taking the gel they have in the course. But they have a Merton gel, which I like. It's easy for my body to
Hmm.
digest. It's nothing to me except stomach. Some of the Gatorade, I kind of got scared of the Gatorade because one time I did the Gatorade, I just vomited. I keep vomiting every time I
Hmm.
drink it. I just vomit. Maybe it's just too much.
Hmm.
So I just take salt and stuff. And on that 100 mile I did in Kona too on Saturday, just salt and water,
Hmm.
salt, water, and goo.
Wow.
Then
That's
I
fascinating.
figured the battery
Hmm.
for my body is just like vitamins you take, the greens,
Hmm.
because I take greens too on halfway on my bike and halfway on my run. I take whatever green I'm taking, like half a serving of it. I'll drink it, and
What,
go.
what do you mean greens? Like what?
Like
Give
the
me an,
super
what
greens,
type?
the super greens you take,
Okay,
like
those
yeah, the
powders.
powder one. And you just
Hmm.
I mix it on a small bottle and mix it up and put it on my special need bag, and I'll just leave it there, and I
Okay.
grab that, drink it, and go. I figure that's my battery to restart my engine,
Hmm.
to get the battery, put everything where it's supposed to go, your fuel, your salt, things like that. Because every time I tell the kids, like the coaching I do right now, all the kids
Hmm.
always ask me, "Do you have salt, coach?" Like, buy your own salt. I can't bring you salt every day. Get red table salt. I don't know, just bring us salt. I don't want to cramp. Yeah, I know. Then buy your own salt. I'm not gonna bring you every time a salt. And they know it works. Because when they got salt, I don't cramp
Wow.
anymore. So, but you have to learn how to do it right. Like we are sponsored by base salt, which is that's the same
Hmm.
salt, but I just use regular salt sometimes. You know.
So what about so you have these electrolytes,
Yeah,
right?
electrolytes.
And I consume
Yeah.
electrolytes, and people take other kind of products for electrolyte, which has salt in it,
Yeah.
sodium. It has sodium in it,
Uh huh.
and that's what you essentially are getting from the salts,
Yeah.
right? Sodium, basically.
Without the other thing that
And
goes with it. Some of the drink have every
another thing,
extra stuff that they put
yeah, they have
flavoring to make it
potassium.
taste better. So mine is just salt water, so there's no taste to it.
Hmm.
Just salty. That's about it.
Salt water,
I want
yeah.
you to try it. Like, when is your next
I do.
run? When is your next run? Long run.
Next weekend is my long run.
When? Saturday?
Saturday.
Saturday? How long? How long is the run?
I'll probably be doing 18 to 20
In
miles.
20 miles? Okay. What do you eat for fuel? Like, do you take goo with you, or what do you take?
Yeah, I use this goo called Huma.
Oh,
It's a
Yuban.
chia seed based
How many of that you
Huma. I
take?
use Huma. Usually do it for once in 6 miles.
Every six
I
months
take
you take
that
one?
once in 6 miles.
1 in 6 miles. Okay. And the electrolytes you take?
Yeah, electrolytes. I take tablets. I usually just pop in a couple of tablets
Every
every
what?
every maybe 2 hours.
Every 2 hours? But you said you're doing how many miles
Yeah,
again?
20
20
miles.
miles? So how long will it take you to do that, you think?
That 20 miles, maybe about 3.5 hours.
3.5 hours? Do this for me.
Okay,
You have a salt, Himalayan salt, okay? Have a cement. Put it
Himalayan
on a
salt. Okay.
Ziploc bag. Put it on a Ziploc bag that you can grab and open it and dip your finger
Yeah.
on it, right? I want you to
Hmm.
take a salt every. Are you a heavy sweater? You sweat a lot?
Very heavy sweater.
Okay, every two
Lots.
miles, dip three. You lick your finger,
Three of those pieces. Hmm.
dip it
Okay.
there, take it 3 times. Then drink
Okay.
water behind it. Okay? Every 2 miles, you have to be every 2 miles.
Hmm.
Okay?
Every two
Every two
miles. Okay.
miles and drink water behind it. Okay, just water. That's fine. Is this
Hmm.
like a loop you're taking or is just one big loop you're running? Where you're running?
Usually out and back. So we do two out and
So
backs
you did 10,
typically.
so 10 and 10,
Yeah.
10 and 10. Is there like places you can stage your, because you carry everything with you?
I carry something. Yeah, I
Okay,
carry. I
so
just
I
carry
guess you
some
can
water.
carry, I mean, a Ziploc bag, make sure you have enough salt on it,
Yeah.
put it in your pouch,
Right.
whatever. But the water, how much water you carry?
Hmm.
Can you carry?
Carry
How
about
much
one of those
water
eight,
can you
eight,
drink?
8 ounce.
Because you're supposed to drink at least 500 ml an hour. That's the most your body can take, really.
Okay. Yeah, that's about how much. I probably don't drink that
Well, you
much.
need to drink
I
that
probably
much,
drink less
at
than that.
least 500 ml an
Hmm.
hour. That can you
Hmm.
digest your. I mean, just take a salt, take a sip, salt,
Yeah.
sip.
Yeah.
But make
Okay.
sure an hour you're done with the bottle. Okay.
Hmm.
Then the
Hmm.
goo. You said you take goo, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
So how much goo you take every 6 miles? No, every
Every six
you
miles.
take
Yeah.
on the goo. I want you to take it every 3 miles.
3 miles. Okay.
Take a goo.
So salt every 2 miles and goo every three
Yeah.
miles.
And how many carbs are
Okay.
on that goo? How much?
About 100
Yeah,
carbs, 100
gram.
calories.
Like what? 25
Oh, I
grams?
gotta see.
Oh yeah.
I gotta check that.
Because I want you to get at least between six, depending on how intensity you're doing. What's your pace on this one? Easy, right? Okay,
Easy.
okay. So at least you want to take at least 60 to 80 grams of carbs without upsetting your
Hmm.
stomach. Okay. So just text me on how many grams of that you have. So how many
Okay.
miles you think you can take in an hour? How many miles you think you're gonna run?
How many?
Miles,
How many? What?
miles you think you're gonna run in an hour for 20 miles? So the five
In an
miles,
hour, probably five to 5.5
five and a
miles.
half. So that's almost two goo right there, close to two goo,
Okay.
2 goo an hour, and that's it. So
I
water,
want to try
goo.
that. Yeah.
Then you take greens,
I
drink.
haven't tried greens. That's an interesting. No.
Yeah. So if you have greens, you can take that like halfway, like 10 miles. Take a half a serving of it.
Okay.
I don't want to upset your stomach. Like if you don't do it, don't do it.
Yeah.
But so what else
So what
do you
about
take?
electrolyte tablets and stuff? No
No
electrolytes at
tablets,
all?
no tablets, no electrolyytes.
No
Your
tabs,
electrolytes is your
no
water and salt
Gatorade, none
already.
of that.
Okay. Try the
That's
first
it.
10 miles. See how
No
you feel.
potassium.
Okay. What do you eat for
What about
breakfast?
magnesium and potassium and all
Yeah.
that,
What do you eat for
which is
breakfast?
usually there?
Yeah. What do you eat for
Okay.
breakfast?
Breakfast, when I run, I usually, I use chia pudding. I put chia seeds in a
Yeah.
bit of an oat milk and I make a pudding of it and then I
Uh-huh.
use that.
Because the chia seed, I usually just mix it with water and just let it sit there. And you know how it's kind of
Yeah,
soak
same
water
thing. Same.
and just drink
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah,
Do
yeah.
you take any Coke during your race?
No,
You don't drink Coke?
no. Well, I mean, not during the race. No.
No, during the race you don't take any Coke on the marathon?
No, well, marathons don't give cokes. I haven't
Really?
seen cokes in marathons.
Because we
Yeah.
do take.
Ultras, you do.
Oh, really? They don't.
Yeah, yeah. Usually you get
Caffeine. I mean, do you
Gatorade
take
and water.
caffeine? The
my
goo
gel
have gel.
has
Okay, okay,
caffeine.
okay, okay. So do you
Yeah.
see every gel has got caffeine, or every other gel you take caffeine?
Every maybe once in the run I take caffeine. I don't take too much of caffeine.
Okay. Does the
Like maybe
caffeine works for
one
you?
sachet.
Does it work
Yeah,
for you?
it works. Yeah, it gives me a surge of energy.
So you don't want to do it every every third. So how many goo you gonna be taking? Pretty much, you're gonna be taking 8 goos, right? That's
Hmm.
about 8 goo.
So every 3 miles, right?
Yeah,
So
about 8 goo an
yeah, six
hour.
of them. 6, 18. Okay,
So about eight
six
goos,
to
right?
seven.
So
Okay.
you can have at least,
Yeah.
I don't know how many caffeine goo you want on that one. Out of 8, maybe have 3 caffeine and kind of
Hmm.
even it
Hmm.
up. Like, okay, goo, no caffeine, no caffeine, goo. No caffeine, no caffeine, goo. I mean, caffeine,
Hmm.
you know,
Caffeine. Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
spread them
Yeah.
all
Let me
out.
try it.
Try it, try it, try it.
I'm
Tell
gonna
me
try
how
it.
you feel. I
Yeah.
wish I can run with you. I'll run with you 20 miles and see how you feel on it.
I probably can't keep up with your pace though.
I'll go easy. Because I like today's run, I just run, almost 9 miles. I only did one salt on the fourth mile. So I wasn't running hard. Then I have a Coke though. I have a Coke I drink every 3 miles. I drink Coke. So I take
Hmm.
Goop
Hmm.
and Coke every 3 miles when I run. Like a little small Coke.
Okay.
Like when I did the Shakeout Half Ironman, I have one small Coke and I just take a sip of it. Just sugar,
Hmm.
regular sugar. But I don't take any solid food on my run. Only on my bike.
Okay.
That's the only time I do the
Okay.
bike. But yeah, try that. I really want you to tell me how you feel.
Sure.
But make sure you're
I
taking
want to try
fluid.
that.
All right. I don't want you to be
Yeah.
cramping. You shouldn't be cramping at all. So that's the thing. You have
Yeah.
to
I want to
practice
try
though
that.
how much. I'm just giving you the 3 leaks right now. Maybe it's too much. Maybe it's
Hmm.
too little. Because I don't know how much. You said you sweat a lot. I sweat a lot
Yeah.
too. But I take 3 leaks. I can tell my body how much I need. Sometimes I even take
Hmm.
4. Like I think you need 4. Then when you start
Okay.
sweating too. Now, are you gonna be running with somebody?
Yeah. Yeah. It's a
Other group?
group that runs together. Yeah.
Yeah, don't tell them
So
what you're
three
doing. Don't
three.
tell them what you're doing yet. All right,
Okay.
surprise
They're
them.
gonna hear it in the podcast.
Oh, they're gonna hear it.
They're gonna hear
All
it.
right, yeah. But try that. I really want you to try that.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
other thing you
Yeah.
want
Yeah.
to maybe add on your salt mix is the new salt. NU. I don't know if you ever know the new salt. Do you know new salt? It's like they're in a blue little small bowl. If you go HEB, you see the salt on this section. And if you
Hmm.
go look on your right or left, you see the small bowl of new. And I usually put
New.
half and half. Half Himalayan, like if I put a
Okay.
cup of Himalayan salt, I put half of that and mix it. And that's high in
Okay.
potassium. Okay, the new salt is high
Oh,
in
okay.
potassium. And you. And you just mix those two
New
and you
salt.
should be fine. I mean, I got other things I mix it with
Cool.
my drink, but salt and water is gonna.
So just three licks.
3 leaks,
Three
yeah.
three
Lick
licks.
it, dip
Three
it,
licks.
like drip it, like drip
Three
it,
licks every two
every
miles.
2 miles.
I'm gonna do that.
Every 2 miles.
I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna
Instead
try
of
that.
fill.
Yeah, let's do that. Live coaching,
Yeah,
guys. This is
hey,
first time I got live coaching
there
on the
you go.
podcast.
I'm gonna make you a change man on this after this one. Like, oh shoot.
All right.
All right,
All
I'll
right.
cross my
Yeah.
finger on that.
And it just
But remember,
good.
we still had to
And
practice on how much you can take. Okay, we're just
yeah.
and try to
Yeah.
get maybe your 3 leaks. Maybe your 2 leak. I don't know,
Yeah. Yeah.
but just try it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
First 10 miles. Tell
Cool.
me how you
Yeah.
feel. Hope that thing
That's
works.
awesome.
Yeah.
So I just want to put quick disclaimer here because
Uh-huh.
this podcast is going to go out in the public. This is a personal opinion. We're
Yeah.
going to try it because
Yeah.
it's just
It works for
it's
me.
a
It doesn't mean
personal
it's gonna work for
experience. It works
everybody.
for you, yeah, everybody. So just
Maybe
put a disclaimer out there. If you want to try it at your you try it at your
yeah,
discretion, right?
maybe it works if you
And I'm going to try it at my
maybe
discretion.
if you become a Navy SEAL. Try it.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Just don't come back and complain about it.
Yeah,
It's
if they were
purely a
like,
personal
hey, I
experience.
told you it doesn't work for everybody. It works for me. Maybe you need
Yeah, yeah,
5 leaks, 10 leaks. I don't know.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Cool, cool.
But this is the cheap way to
All
do
right.
it, I think, because it's too
Yeah,
expensive.
yeah,
Everything is too expensive. So you have to find your fuel, I guess. And this is my
yeah,
fuel. I'm
yeah.
sharing it to you, and I'm really
Yes.
hoping it
Thank
helped
you.
you because it helped most of my
Yeah,
friends. So
thank
they
you.
just, but they had to
Appre-
still play with it. Like, oh man, I had to do it
yeah,
two only is too much. Like, or maybe dipping your finger too much too.
It's an
Because
art. That's the
the
art part,
story,
right?
hey, I'll give you a quick story in Nice. What happened? Okay, so I said I'm always losing my salt. So okay, this time I'm gonna put a salt in my water bottle in my bike. I'm gonna have a tube of salt in my bento box in my bike, and I have another salt ready on my special need bag just in case I lose all this stuff. I have at least I still have salt to grab after 50 miles. Then boom, the gun go off. I swim, finish the swim. I start riding. Time for salt. I dip on the salt bag that I made on my bottle in front of me. I dip. I'm like, it's empty. What happened? Where'd it go?
Ah,
The flap was open. It was shaking because I figured the salt was coming up. I
gosh.
didn't even notice it. Like, shoot, no salt. So there's a little salt left. I'm like, trying to get some salt. Then so I got my bento box here. Let me I open my bento box. Like, where's my tube? It's not here too. Shoot, I don't have any salt. Like, I guess it fell off when I have a sleeve I usually put on my calf for the bike for aerodynamic and compression. And we can't swim with it because we're not wearing a wetsuit. It's a non-wetsuit swim, so we can't wear it on the swim. So we have to put it on during the transition. I guess when I pulled that thing, the tube came off too. Like so what I did before the 50 miles, I'm like, okay, I can't eat anything. Well, I can eat something right now. I don't care if I had to use the bathroom, but I don't want to cramp up. So I tried to grab the salt that left over on my frame, licking it just to have some salt. So every 3 miles, I mean, on the bike is every 5 miles. So I'm like, okay, it's working. So I start climbing, and Nice, the first 35 miles, you gain almost 4,500 feet of climbing. The first 35 miles is all climbing. So I'm climbing, like, no cramping yet, no cramping. Then I get a little cramp. So I'm like, just get push through it. Then it goes away. Then I got to the special need bag. Then boom, that's where I got my salt. Like, yes, I got my salt. I make sure I don't lose it. I put it in my pocket. It's always there. Like, we better not flew out because it was a downhill course. On the way down, it's like I was maximum speed is 54.4 miles an hour going that mountain, and everybody was crashing. I think they almost have 20 airlifted athletes off the mountain because they crashed. And one time I had to stop for almost 2-3 minutes waiting for the helicopter to take off because they were taking somebody. Like, okay, whatever. Then the salt saved my run. I ran a 340 something on the marathon after that one. But my goal is sub 3 next Ironman Kona.
Wow. Great. So nutrition, you said number one.
Yeah.
And thanks for sharing all those, double clicking on it. Anything else that's working for you? That's
nutrition,
making you
training for sure. You make sure you're training on the spot. You always need to.
Anything in particular in training that
For me, is that
that you're
a
doing?
lot more easy training than back in the 90s. I was just gunning and gunning and gunning, just run hard. And no, you can't do that every time. As you said, right now everybody's doing like 80% just aerobic and 20% just anaerobic, and that works. But it might not work for everybody, but that's like a general rule right now.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm doing the same thing, but sometimes I'll tweak it. You have a little tweak and like race pace, threshold. There's always 5 zones: zone 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You kind of play between zone 2 and zone 3. But zone 3 is like a gray area. You either go zone 2 or zone 4. Zone 5 is like really all out sprint,
Intense.
just to bring that lactic acid, like VO2 max. The VO2 max is like zone 4 or zone 4, zone 3, VO2 max. But yeah, the training is the key. And of course, you're always going to have a goal. If you don't have a goal, it's kind of like shooting in the dark,
Right.
You should have always a plan, pretty much. The third one. Then the family is always the fourth one, family. And the fifth one is pretty much just getting the schedule right, make sure you stick to it.
Yeah.
Once you don't stick to it, then it just, what's the point of doing all this stuff if you're not going to stick to it anyway? You know,
Yeah.
it's always the end game is like you had to go through it. You're gonna suffer,
Hmm.
but you just find the light in the tunnel, pretty much. And that's
Yep.
what I do with my
Makes sense.
Ironman. I only want to do one Ironman race. I told my wife I just want to do one Ironman
Mm-hmm.
race to qualify for the world. So that's
Mm-hmm.
2 Ironman I'm doing a year. All right. I want
Okay.
to qualify right away. I don't
Mm-hmm.
want to do 5 Ironman before I qualify. No, I want to do one to qualify. They said one qualify, and in between maybe I'll do my own shakeout race, which I just do it here for free. You know,
Sure.
a lot of shakeout, like half Ironman shakeout race I do in Andice where I live. We have a place there. My sponsor always have a SAG vehicle behind him. He always asks
Mm.
his employee like, make sure I stay alive because I pay your
Mm-hmm.
paycheck. So stay behind me all the time with my Jeep. So that's a good thing right there right now. I'm training and working for him because I work for him now.
Okay.
So right now he's in Kerrville. They're doing a half Ironman tomorrow. You can track
Mm-hmm.
them. There's a tracker. If you go to Kerrville Triathlon, you can track people that you know. I'm going to track them. I didn't even know they have a tracker. I haven't done Kerrville yet.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe next year
Okay.
we'll put that in our schedule to do Kerrville. But I can't wait to see how you do with your run. In fact, practice those salt and water and goo
Mm.
on your other runs before the long run.
Okay.
You have some short runs, right? Like 5 miles and stuff.
Yeah.
Try
During the
it.
week. Yeah.
Yeah.
During the week.
Don't take any
Yeah.
of those liquid you take. The salt and goo. You know, I don't know if you take on the
And
five.
water.
Do you do a 6 mile run tomorrow? Are you doing
Yep.
any run?
Tomorrow I might, yeah, but Monday for sure I would do a six
Six
mile.
mile
Either
run.
tomorrow or
There you go.
Monday. Yeah.
Try that over
Yeah.
there. And see how you
I'm gonna
feel
do
on
that.
that.
Yeah.
You always do it in the morning though, right? Before your breakfast or whatever. After your breakfast.
Yeah.
Like for me, I
Yeah.
drink
Yeah.
orange juice. That's my fuel. I remember in the teams I drink orange juice and I can work out all the way till lunch before I eat something with
Hmm.
an orange juice. So that works for me.
Awesome.
Orange juice.
Great. Hey, that was amazing. Some great real personal experiences and tips, and what an amazing journey being a SEAL. I mean, just getting a little bit of a window into what happens, the lifestyle, and it's just quite an amazing conversation so far. Art, thanks for sharing that. Um, I think we covered quite a bit of ground, and we can probably sit here and talk for next five
Oh yeah.
hours, and probably we'll just have you back again to talk more
After
about some of
Kona.
these specifics after Kona, maybe. Yeah.
Or after
But
your journey with my nutrition plan.
yes, yes, we should come back and talk about it. And I have a 50K that I'm training for in November, so I'm going to use your
November,
tips
all right.
and November. Yeah, yeah, cool.
Uh-huh.
So I have a um, fun Q&A round with
Hmm.
my guests is a part of my podcast. So you ready for that?
I guess. I'll shoot it.
Let's do that. Okay. So one of the things that most endurance athletes like to do is like to eat,
Oh yeah.
right? And so, what is your favorite junk food?
My favorite junk food? McDonald's, I guess.
Yeah. You picked that up when you were in buds,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Supersizing
Super
the.
exciting. I like McDonald's. But right now I'm going with Costco's hot dogs and the Sunday. It's so good.
It's one thing. Art is your approach to training and nutrition is so down to earth, right? It's
Yeah.
not a lot of nowadays, right? There's
Yeah.
so much going
Yeah,
around about this
scientific.
diet
Like
and that
prick
diet,
you're
and
like,
yeah,
it's your body.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know how your body works, you know? Seriously, if you
yeah,
know it,
yeah,
upset your stomach, don't eat it, you know? Or like
yeah, yeah. Awesome.
my sponsor, he always have Tums, to take. And now I'm carrying that on my bike just in case, Tums, just in case my stomach's upset,
Love it.
take it.
Love it. Love
Uh-huh.
it. It's straightforward, simple,
Uh-huh.
practical. All right. A thank you note to someone, part of your Ironman journey.
Oh, I want to thank my sponsor for sure, Bob
Hmm, hmm,
and Julian Rangel, the Dream Team. Now we call ourselves the
hmm,
RED4 Dream Team. We're under his
hmm,
umbrella. Because the Dream Team, you
hmm,
need to see his website, Running Cowboy. Check
Okay.
his website, join our team. We're the dream team. If you have a dream, he'll make it come true. And he's making my dream come true right now. He's
Wow.
sponsoring me and everything, and I work for him. I mean, he's a great guy, great friend, like a family to me right now. And like Bob,
Awesome.
he got me started. He's still with me. I still see him and everything. He asked me if I need anything. Like maybe I need this. Okay, that's fine. Thank you. I'll get it from you. Like, oh, thanks, man. And I want to thank my family too. I mean, I know they never been in
Mm.
my Ironmans because it's just so much stress, for them to be there.
Yeah.
They want other things to do. So I thought, okay, don't go there. We'll just go somewhere else. But once
Mm.
my kids, I got one more kid to go to college next year, and
Mm.
now
Mm.
we have a nest free house right here. So we probably
Okay.
gonna go travel, follow the kids, or do my Ironman every around the world with her because she's a travel. She can be a nurse everywhere, but she's a nurse and hygienist, so she can do whatever she wants. I want
Cool.
to take my family too. That's for sure. My family in
Awesome.
California, my mom, my sister, they always watch my Ironmans and they always post something.
Nice. Nice. All right. Next one.
Oh, one more thing, my
Is
brother,
there one
I almost
athlete?
forgot.
Yeah.
All my friends, there's great friends. To Ryan, to Mike, I mean,
Cool.
Jim, Brian, I mean, there's so many of them right there. I really appreciate their support on me and stuff and keep me moving all the time. If I need help, I ask them, I
Nice.
call them, they give me help. I really appreciate those
Nice.
guys.
Awesome. Is there one athlete you'd want to go on a run with?
One
Maybe a
athlete,
celebrity athlete. Yeah.
like a triad.
One maybe a famous athlete or a famous celebrity athlete you would
Oh, you
want to
know
go
what?
do a bike ride or a run or whatever, right?
Man, there's so many of them. But right now,
Pick one.
I always want to
You
ride
got to
with.
pick one.
I rode with Mark Allen before, but I have a story with Mark
Okay.
Allen. You need to hear this. Back in
Okay.
'97, I did a relay in the Challenge Athlete Foundation, the CAF Foundation, and I did a relay. I did the bike part, and I'm a swimmer. My swimmer is as fast as Mark Allen's swimmer. So Mark Allen, the legend, the grip. So
Hmm.
we took off the same on a bike, a bunch of us in a group, but we can draft on this relay. So we were
Hmm.
drafting,
Hmm.
drafting, drafting. Next, he pulled over. I think he got a mechanical problem. So I'm looking back. I'm like, hey, should we wait for him? I know he'll catch up. Like, oh yeah, he's a pro.
Hmm.
He'll catch up. So we just keep going, right? Then I never saw him. We finished the bike ride. I never saw him pass us. Like, but we got to the transition. He was there. Like, how did he get here?
All right.
How did he get here? Oh, he cheated. He took a shortcut. So all that year, from '97 all the way to 2022 in Utah, every time I tell that story, I tell them that Mark Allen cheated on this race, blah, blah, blah. Then I saw him in Utah. So I confronted him right away. Like, Mark
Uh-huh,
Allen,
uh-huh.
remember that race, the relay race in La Jolla back in the '90s? The CAF, Challenge Athlete Foundation race. Oh yeah, I remember that race. You remember we were riding? I don't know if you remember it, but we were a group of riders, and you pulled over to the side, and you have a mechanical problem or a flat. Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah, I got a flat. I mean, not a flat, mechanical problem. I tried to fix it, but you never passed us on the ride. But you end up getting the transition before us. Like, you cheated, huh? Like, no, I didn't cheat it. Like, what happened? You didn't pass it. Oh no, I was trying to fix it, and the referee told me if you can't fix it, just go back to the transition. So I just went back to the transition, the opposite way. Like, I didn't cheat it. They told me to go back. Like, oh, I'm sorry. I thought you cheated. Sorry for the past 20 something years. I told the story that you
I've been holding
cheated. Like,
on.
I never do that.
Yeah.
So every year I
Yeah.
always see him. I saw him in Kona. We always see each other at the finish line. In Nice, he was there too. We saw him. I took pictures with him every time. So Mark Allen, I would like to race with
Cool.
him if he's up for it.
Up front. Nice. All right. Are you a sunrise or a sunset person?
Both.
Both.
Yeah. I don't know.
Oh yeah, you got to work.
Yeah, I kind of both. I don't know. I
No
don't.
preference.
Nothing. No preference really. I can work in the morning.
Okay.
I remember riding 311 miles. I woke up at 12 o'clock midnight. Start riding. It was New Year's Eve. I rode from midnight all the way till it took me 14 hours to ride 311 miles on Swift. That's my longest ride in Swift. Because my buddy was doing a ride. Every time there's a tailwind, a south wind from Austin going to Dallas, this time he tried to ride 311 miles. There's a word for it that people does, 311 miles. But he tried to ride it, but he ended up crashing like 50 miles before Dallas. So he ended up not finishing it. So I put it on Strava like, oh, don't worry, I'll finish it for you. So I ended up doing 311 miles. It took me how many hours? 4 hours, 5. Yeah, how many hours was that? 14 hours something. 14 hours, almost 15 hours. And I remember I changed jersey every 100 miles. I changed jersey and I have fuel. I'd set up everything in the garage. Yeah, I told my wife and my kids, don't bother me. I'll be in the garage. But halfway on my ride, I want a ramen. Cook some ramen for me. I'm gonna eat some ramen. So those are some of the crazy stuff I did.
Cool. Last question I have is, if we made a movie of your life, right? What genre would you put it in, and who would you hire to play your character?
Genre? Like the music genre?
Yeah, I mean, it could be genre, could be adventure, drama,
it would be everything.
Action, whatever.
Adventure, comedy, drama. I mean, every single genre there is.
All of it.
All of it. Okay. I don't know if you say all of the above. I don't know how you're going to put it everything in one genre. Sports, everything, documentary, every single genre there is. That's my life right now. It's every genre there is. And who's going to play me? There's somebody in my head. I just can't get the name for some reason. What is the name? Oh, Robin Padilla. He's one of the actors in the Philippines. He's a funny guy, actor, drama, and he's just a good guy. A really good guy. Robin Padilla.
Robin Padilla. Look him up.
Yeah, Robin Padilla.
All right, Robin, there's a script coming your way.
Yeah.
You got to do a good job, though.
Oh, yeah.
You got to train. You got to train harder.
He's a good guy. He's a great actor, very down to earth. He's just good guy. He's a funny character in the movie, that's for sure. He's an action guy. It's like kind of like if you compare it here, it'd be like, damn, I can't compare with anybody. It's like everything. It's like one person. I don't know. Just kind of, Robin Padilla.
All right. Okay, great. Well, you did well in the Q&A round. Got to learn a few more things about you in the process. And we're coming up to a wrap up here, Art. And I want to give you the last word. Any final messages for our audience and listeners?
Look up at teamred4.org and texastridream.com. Those two websites. Look it up. As I said, we're having a fundraising right now for 2024 Ironman World Championship. Support the three foundations we support: the Nave Seal Foundation, Seal Legacy, and Word of Honor Funds. Please support the family of the Naval Special Warfare and the brave warriors that supporting us. Help, awesome. Please. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. Hey, Art, again, thank you. This was a wonderful conversation. Been at it for almost 2 hours now, and we could have gone on longer. But there's so much to learn from your journey. I'll let you go, enjoy the rest of the afternoon, and we'll stay in touch.
If you need me, talk to my buddy right here, and they can contact me.
Yes.
Well, thank you. It was a pleasure.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Mahalo.